Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Explore Mixed Media. I'm Lori Williams, and today we are going to be working on a gel plate. We're focusing this week on layering. Okay, and everyone, welcome to Explore Mixed Media. And so, what we're going to do today is layering, and we're going to talk about the things that you need to pay attention to if you want to get productive and really nice quality layer gel prints. So we're working on the gel print today, and I have Terry Jones here with me and Corrine Carpino. Are you ladies ready to get started?
I am.
Okay. I am. Now, I'm going to switch my camera down, but I will say that all three of us have a lot of experience working on a gel plate. And so I assume you ladies probably will chime in on your experiences and share what you've run into. Oh, I love those stencils, Terry.
So do I.
Anyway, but before we jump in, just real quick, because up here up front, I want to tell everybody about Explore Mixed Media. So if you're watching this, Explore Mixed Media is something that Terry, Corrine, and I started at the beginning of last year. And every month we have a theme, and we are live here on YouTube every Friday morning where we explore. Basically, we explore mixed media and do different things. We do have a patron account where we have a private project and a monthly paint session that we do for our members, and it's only $7 a month. And when you do join with that $7 a month, you get access to everything. That means the whole past year of projects and stuff. You get access to all of those things. And we've done some amazing and fun projects in mixed media. So I hope you'll consider checking that out and joining us there because we'd love to have you in that community. So without any ado, I will jump into what we're going to cover today. So today we are working with layering on the gel plate. I wanted to say this month's project is on gel printing, and the project is doing image transfers and painting them and doing the pull. So it's also layering, kind of like what we're talking about today. We're not doing image transfers today, but I wanted to show you these are the couple of projects that we did in this month's project. Okay, so I'm working today on my 8.5 by 11 gel plate. So I turned it sideways so that I could fit everything on the screen. And with gel printing, and when you're doing layering, you need to think about the order of operations. So the first layer on your gel plate is what's going to end up being on top of everything else. So you need to be able to build on that. So for that reason, you need to pay attention to the transparency of the paint that you're using. And you want to start if you're layering and building up layers on the plate, you want to start with something that's either completely opaque is um, or is at least mostly opaque. So when you look at different paints that you get, you will see there's at least the professional grade paints or the if you're using the paints that like craft paints and stuff, which some people do, you kind of have to learn. They don't always mark those. But on these like Liquitex Basics, Amsterdam's, I have some Arteza colors here. I have some Artist Loft colors. They all provide you with a little guide to tell you what's transparent and what is semi-transparent and which is opaque. So when you see a little box like this, it's all colored in solid. That is an opaque color. The Mars black is usually opaque. Also, the titanium white is opaque. Just keep that in mind. And then I have this yellow here. This yellow, let's see if I can scratch the paint off of that area, but you can see it has a little it's half completed, so that means that it's semi-transparent. On these Arteza colors, I have an orange here, and the orange is opaque. but this pink color that I have is semi-transparent. And the other thing that I would say too is you want to not work with too many different colors. So you want to think about a color scheme. If you do let the paints dry between the layers, you can play around with complementary colors as those won't get muddy on you if it dries between each layer. So that's just some fundamentals to get started. Today I'm going to start off with a stencil and I'm going to put an opaque color down. And my stencil doesn't cover my whole plate. I just realized that. That's okay. So I'm going to actually put a stencil. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I am going to put my color down. But you can put your color over the stencil if you want to. But I'm going to start with black actually.
So black's going to be the color that you have on top.
That is going to be the color I have on top. And actually, I'm not going to use my stencil first. I'm sorry. I'm going to use some mattes. And you don't, you ladies may not have that. You may want to start with your stencil, but you can, so you want to use a black, you might want to use something else. But I just have these circles that are masked that I put, and I wanted to have a few of these. And I'm thinking too of like where, where I want my placement to be on these. Maybe that's enough. I think so. Maybe a half one over here. Like that.
Okay. And I'm going to go a little opposite of you, Lori. I'm going to use an opaque blue because I already have some color on one of these plates. So I'm going to use the opaque blue and go through the stencil.
Okay, that's fine. But that's great because we can show different techniques for this. This is perfect.
Okay. And so this one's going through the stencil. And one of the things that I do is, if I can get it through the stencil, is then I'll run 2 plates and I'm going to put the stencil back on the other plate that I'm running.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And let that give a pattern to it. So I'm using this opaque kind of, it's the vivid turquoise. It's a turquoise color. So I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to put my little fan on it to start drying it. Because it gets very thick when you do it this way.
And I just realized something on mine. I'm demonstrating this, but I want to make sure that when I pull up these circles that it's leaving the circles behind. And hopefully I didn't press too hard for the blonde. Yeah, it's leaving a circle, but I wanted it to leave the big circle, but that's okay. I should have thought about that.
Well, I find that I just keep on learning more and more and more every time I do this.
So anyway, moving on. So the next layer I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use the stencil. And I am going to push that through the plate. I'm also going to use another color that will be opaque. And I think that's going to be this orange. And I had these Ortiza colors, so I decided that I wanted to use them up. They've been sitting there for a while, so.
Yeah, I have a bunch that have been sitting there for probably 5 years.
Yeah. And also I want to put a little orange border on it. That'll be interesting. I want to also say that the when you're putting down the colors and layering them, that you want to use a different brayer when you're using different colors. Because if you can, or clean the brayer between each one. Because otherwise you could end up contaminating the colors. So.
Well, and the other thing that I just did, which I do quite frequently, is if I'm pushing it through a stencil, what I like to do sometimes is have a scrap piece of paper just waiting, because it puts so much on it that I just lightly whisper finger over it so it'll dry quicker. And then that adds another piece of scrap to my scrap pile.
Right.
So that's something I will do.
Yeah, and I don't have a second plate here, I just don't have room for it. So I took my wet stencil, and I'm gonna just kind of run that grater over it, see if I can transfer some of that wet paint on there. See what happens. Now I'm using a piece of watercolor paper here. So that's another thing, is I'm using a heavier paper since I'm gonna do layers. Especially when you do what I call the big pull, which is when you layer on the plate. I love seeing what you guys have going on so far there.
Thanks. So, so I went through the stencil and I did the same thing Terry did. Picked up a little bit more paint than she did, but I just wanted this kind of, I didn't want a really thick, heavy layer. And then I flipped the stencil over. I already had this plate dirty with some ghosts from something else. So I flipped this over on it, and I think it's going to end up being pretty.
Yeah, it looks really pretty.
Yeah, it does. I love that blue and the dark blue contrast there.
Thank you.
And so it is important to let them dry between layers. And while they're doing that, I'll just go over. So I have, and it'll be downloadable in the on the website, is I have best practices for layering on gel plate. It's just a kind of a cheat sheet. And on it, we talk about some of the best practices, and we've already talked about some of them. But you want to obviously when you're layering on the plate, you want to let it dry between layers. Otherwise, you're going to mix paints. You're also going to mess up what your design is. Let's see, what else have we not covered here?
Well, and usually I love this color. I'm going to put for my second coat though a little bit of gold in, and I mean just a little bit of gold. So I'm just putting a little bit of gold in this one, and I'm going to put a little bit of gold in the second one that I have going that already has something on it. And in this gold, it is going to be semi-transparent. And if I put a very thin coat, it could be almost fully transparent, but I just want a little glitz in mine. And I have just a little glitz now, and I have a leaf in there. So, but I am thinking of texturing it just a little bit with, now's a good time for me to use a stamp in here. And so I'm texturing the gold with just a little bit of this, I don't know, leopard skin stamp. I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to texture. So that gives me another layer of interest in there with the gold and another level of transparency. So gold dries really fast, which is one of the reasons I frequently use it as a second or third layer.
Oh, that's a really good point. I'm going to add that to the guide. What was that?
Because the gold and the titanium white dry really fast.
No, Terry, have you tried other metallic colors other than the gold?
Yes, and most of them dry fairly fast. So it's important, and it depends on whose you use, but I think it might be the mica in it or something. It just they seem to I love to pull with gold, but if you wait too long to do your final pull with gold, it dries too fast. I mean, this gold is almost dry already.
So I think the next layer that I want to do, I am going to actually do with, let me find one of my transparent colors here. I think the pink maybe. And what do I do with it? Here it is. So my orange layer is dry. I'm going to roll on the pink directly on. I could use a different stencil if I wanted to. But my thought is I'm gonna do that and then I'm gonna crumple the paper, a piece of paper,
Mhm.
texture in this layer. Now, this layer is a semi-transparent, so I need to keep that in mind when I decide to do the next round. And even if it's layer that was not really.
Okay.
A little bit more on the page. So we remember that the orange layer that I put down and the black were opaque, and this pink is a semi-transparent. So it's half opaque, I guess you could say. And I kind of want to make this layer a little thick. I know that's going to take a little longer to dry, but okay. And then I'm going to take a piece of my I have some medical exam paper here, and I'm going to crumble it up. And I want to see if I want to use that to create some texture in this layer. And so what I'm going to do that is just kind of lay it down and just touch lightly like this and lift up.
And I'm going to use a transparent darker color to try to give some more interest to this whole piece. So I'm using,
Mhm.
continuing with the colors, I'm going to use a dark blue. This is ultramarine by an Amsterdam. Says it's transparent, and I think it is a little bit. So, and again, I want a very thin layer. Don't want a super thick layer. Because all I want it to do is to give a little bit of interest. And I'm going to go back into it now with a stencil and use a stencil to just kind of pull out some more texture.
And I'm doing the same thing. My ultramarine blue in this set is also says transparent, so I'm going to use that as my final layer on this. And I'm going to pull it onto a piece of watercolor paper
Okay.
because it's a little thicker. So what about you guys? What type of paper are you using to pull your prints today?
I'm actually going to use the heavier weight copy paper. This is enough. These layers are thin enough that I could use that. If I had built it up to 2 or 3 more layers, I may use a thicker paper, but
Right. What is the most number of layers you've done, Terry?
I think I did a 16 layer one once when I was following the, but it was almost it was the same stencil over and over and over again. It was called a long pull, and it was really it was fun, but it was a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds very interesting. This is what you call a big pull, what we're doing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I am trying to think of if I want to try to put anything else. This one has some really interesting colors and patterns in it. And because the ultramarine is transparent, I'm wondering what I could pull it with that's going to really pop some of the ultramarine. And I might just pull it with, I don't know.
I'm taking my piece of watercolor paper, I'll place it down. Now, I'm hoping that we can get to the point where I can pull this. Because you want to make sure that it's dry. And I think we can get there if I apply some of this my some of my lollipop land to the back of it.
What time, how are we going for time wise?
We still have 10 minutes.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Okay.
We should be able to pull it. So all of us are sitting here using our little fancy little hand fans, which we ought to talk about. They're like, I get them for like $10 and they plug into my computer.
Exactly. It charges by
Yeah.
USB cable. Mine too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mine
And
too.
so, and it's really good because you don't want to use too much in the way, you don't want to use a hair dryer. It would be too much heat. And the other thing is that if you do use, I've watched people say, well, I can do that. But the problem is you need to dry a bit naturally. If you artificially dry your paper
Hmm.
with a hair dryer too quickly, especially if you use some of the rice rice papers that separate, like the sketch pad paper, if you don't let it really sit and let everything dry kind of naturally with these long pulls, your paper is going to be kind of left on the page. So you'll say, this
Hmm.
isn't working for me. And the reason it's not working for you is that you haven't left it long enough to dry all of the layers. You've dried the surface with something that is like a hair dryer on cool, and you've just dried the surface. You haven't dried the center of the paper. So it is I've been teaching this long class with these ladies and they keep on trying it and they say, why isn't this working? And I'm like, because you have to leave it longer.
Right.
Hmm.
And you can't artificial, but I want it dried now. And I'm like, it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
I don't care how much you want it dried now. It's not going to work. So I'm going to try this light blue to see if it will just get into the cracks and give me another layer of a blue layer here. This is this is a light blue by that I made a mess of here. This is the Basics light blue permanent, and it is kind of a light phthalo blue. And so this theoretically has some white in it, so it should dry fairly quickly, but I have to cover my whole thing and and make sure there's a good amount of coverage on both of them.
Oh, I love those stencils, Corinne. Where did you get those? Did you make them?
No, these are masks, and
Okay.
it was let me think. Sean Petit. It was a set of the mask and the stencil.
Oh, I love
I
Sean.
love them. They're wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
So
what you were saying something, Corinne? Sorry.
no, that's all right.
No, I was just gonna say that I cheated and turned mine over and looked, see what it looks like before I pull it.
Hmm.
And I can already tell I'm not seeing any of this, what is it? The rose
Artesa.
color.
Yeah.
And it is a semi-transparent, so I mean semi-opaque or semi-transparent, however you want to look at it. But it seems that the aquamarine did overpower it. But we'll see what the actual one looks like here when we pull it up. So I'm gonna pull it now and see what we get.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Some of
I
it.
like it. I do
like
like.
Yeah, I like it.
I see a little bits of the rose color coming through, but
Yeah.
I think I might save this and actually talking about layering. I may do another layer on top of it after it's
Yeah.
dry.
Hmm.
Fine. All right, so the next thing that you can do is you can layer on top of other prints that you already have. So like I just said, I have this print and I would want to layer on top of it. But I'm just going to pull out some that I have sitting here that I have done. Some of my prints that I already done, and then I'll layer on top of that. And so, and I'm just gonna use, I think I'm gonna use my little circles again and try it without putting too much pressure and see what I get. So I'm using this is a mask. You can cut any shape you want and use it as a mask. Let's see, do I have any more of this? You know what? I'm gonna do those and I'm gonna do one of my stencils. Oh, you know what? This will be fun. Let's see. I'm inventing as I go here. I have
Mhm.
I had a plan, but I'm abandoning the plan a little bit. Let's see, let's try this one. This looks interesting.
Oh, that's a fun one, Lori.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Mm.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna try to work a little fast here. And I'm gonna apply some of the paint and then I'm gonna pull it on top of this. And I am going to use an opaque color to do it. Because my background, I want the background to shine through some too still. So I'm going to use this orange. It's an opaque orange. So Terry, you're getting ready for the big reveal there.
I'm getting ready for a big reveal here, and I
And Maureen,
may.
I love that you're working on the two plates, so you have the mirror image. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we put this down here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to see where mine is here, whether it's pulling, and it's not quite there yet. So I'm gonna continue. So you can check and see if it's there. And if it's leaving a bunch behind, it's not quite there yet.
Right. Love these little things too. And then I'll write this down.
Wait.
Now, sometimes I pull out my Baron. A Baron is it's a tool,
Mhm.
round tool that applies the pressure to the plate. I have it handy. I usually have it right here. Yep, right here. This is what a Baron looks like.
Yeah.
And then you can apply pressure evenly across the plate. Ah, did I forget to pull one of those off? I did. Oh well, see what happens.
I always think that a little bit of my hand heat is warming it up.
Mhm.
Well, it could
But
be.
after a while, my hand really hurts.
You know what? I'm gonna take one of my other while that's drying, and I have so much paint on my stencil. I'll put it down over here and see what happens.
Well, that's interesting. It's not pulling up everything here, and I'm afraid
Hmm.
it's not pulling up everything because the image was there for so long.
Mhm.
But that could be. It's pulling up everything I put on,
Uh-huh.
but it's not pulling up the ghost image that I had on the plate probably for 6 months. That might just,
Oh.
it's lost. I hadn't realized I put one away with a ghost image on it. This one's still not pulling up everything. It does take a long time. And that is one of the reasons that I run two of them. And it just,
Which is a great idea.
Mhm.
If you have room.
Right. Well, I had a choice between running two 6x6s or running one 8x10
Ah,
or 9x12
Right.
because of that. And I think that's the same choice. Corinne, looks like you're used
I
you're
did. I
using
used,
6x12.
yeah.
That's a really nice size too. I love that. Is that the Elizabeth St. Hilaire?
Uh-huh.
Yep, I love that one. There's some
This one's,
wonderful designers out there.
yes,
Those two, that's in her Klimt collection. I love it.
collection, yes.
I have an idea. We can come up with designs.
I know we can.
Yes,
I
we
think we
could.
should. I have a Cricut even.
Do you?
Yes, I don't know how to use it. I'll
I
send
would
it.
never use it. My husband goes, "Are you gonna keep this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep it."
You have a manual one or a
I have the
computerized
$300.
one?
I
Mine,
have the I
mine's
have the
computer, or I use a program.
Wow.
If that's what you mean. I use a computer program on my laptop.
Yeah, I have the computerized one too, and I bought it, and then I got all involved in everything else, and I never does, but I could cut designs
Your
if,
own stencils, yeah.
yeah, stencils. Yep.
So we're at time, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one very carefully.
Oh,
So I've already had, because I used it. This is why when you're doing layers, you want to use a heavier paper.
Mhm.
I just
I've got a
pulled.
nice heavy tea bag paper. And
Mhm.
I also am using the Yasimoto sketchbook rice paper.
Right.
yeah. I like the sketchbook rice paper a lot. That looks like it was just a left behind.
There we go. So I don't hate this one.
No, I like
No,
it.
that's pretty cool.
I like the way that I was really worried with the Arteza and opaque because my experience with them is their opaques are just kind of like semi-opaque. They're not really
Mhm.
high quality.
Yeah, they're not the highest quality for
They're
sure.
not like Artist Loft or they're more like Artist Loft than they are like
Yeah. Well,
Amsterdam
actually, if you
Standard.
get the Artist Loft Professional, I found it's actually and I have some here. They're actually pretty good.
Hmm.
It's the Arteza. I don't know what it is. I have this huge box of Arteza to use, so I figured I'd pull it out and use some of them.
Yeah, and I have a big box too, and they are, fairly good quality paints, especially for this, and especially if you want
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
different color
Mhm.
because they have so many different colors in their
Mhm.
in the thing. Okay, come on.
All right. So I've done a few today. So I did this one and then this one, which was I just took the stencil and stuck it on the wet stencil and rubbed it on
Mhm.
paper. But again, this is actually rice paper and it didn't do well. And what did I do with my big one? My big pool. That's the one I'm most proud of today. I said it's
I just want all your little circles there, Laurie. I love your circles.
Mm.
I know. Well, look at how they turned out here. I'm
They,
thinking, what can
they're just wonderful. They're wonderful.
I
I
can
mean,
use in
I would use
collage?
them in collages. Yes. It's like great.
They're funny.
Well, and I think that that's what happens with us. We get so many different wonderful happy accidents when we do this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mine are still, oh, here it is. It's finally pulling.
I'm gonna try to pull this other one.
Okay.
And
So,
I just want to shout out to Adele and Janet. They're watching on YouTube this morning. We've been caught up. We didn't
Ah,
even look over
hello,
to say
ladies.
hello.
oh, hi.
Hi.
And while Terry's doing her last, Terry, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. It really is quite lovely. It's, you've got all of it showing through. You don't have a lot of that light blue showing through, but it really helped with the dots, making them come alive. And
Well,
and
next week we do wabi sabi, and we're gonna have live
Yay.
we're gonna do a live, and I'll send out the information for that for the patrons. And so I am excited about that one. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. And just another reminder, if you like following us here, check out our website. We do have the patronage there. It is $7 a month to join. And the value is incredible. We have a whole year's worth of projects and videos and resources. And it's not just projects in there. We have tools in there too. We have a color picker in there that helps you choose the right color. Ooh, Corey, that's cool.
That's really nice.
Thank you. I don't know. I don't think you can see all the colors in it. It has teal and yellow oxide and red iron oxide and
It's lovely.
some browns. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I wanted the white spiral, so I left the paper
Blank.
blank, yeah, for my top sheet. And then I'll still have ghosts underneath all this to work with.
That looks
So that's
fabulous.
cool. Thanks. This one
So
came out pretty cool too.
Adele says good morning. It's fun to watch us.
Morning.
It's
Good
good for her
morning.
ADD brain. It makes her ADD brain happy. Mine too.
So yeah, and these are the two that I just came out with two because I did, fairly long pulls. They've got one,
Right,
two,
you
three,
Right.
4, 5, and then I have my little extra piece of scrap paper here from clean off sheets. But it's funny, I use the same exact colors, but because this one started out with a foundation of that very light green and a few leaves, the leaves have kind of disappeared, but that light green foundation really toned the other. So they're two completely different tones there.
Well, I definitely love what I'm
Very
seeing.
cool.
Very nice. Well, this was fun, ladies. Thank you for joining me this morning and creating with me. We'll do this again next week. And again, details coming out for our patrons about the paint along. It will be next Wednesday evening.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So everyone else, check us out on exploremixmedia.com, and we'll see you next week.
Okay. See you next week, Laurie.
See you next
Bye.
week. Thank you. Bye.